Hi there, I'm Gary, welcome to my channel and welcome back if you've been here before. Now, if you saw Monday Matters, you'll know what this is all about, and if you didn't, well, welcome to Kit of the Week, the unboxing. And the kit of this week is, of course, the 1/35th scale K2Y ambulance, Katy as she was better known, from Airfix. Now, normally on Kit of the Week, I'd be looking at the history of the kit. Well, there isn't one because it's a new tool and they've not made one before. I'd be looking at the competition. Well, frankly, there is one other competitor on the market, and we'll have a look at that as well and compare the two kits. And then I'll have a good old look inside the Airfix offering, see what the plastic's like, and see what options there are for markings. Not all of which, dear viewer, appear anywhere on the literature enclosed in the box. So we'll have a look at all of that. All of this, I hope, will be quite fun to you, and if you enjoy it, then please do give it the imperial thumbs up by clicking the like button down there, and if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel through the little link down there in the bottom right corner. This kit, this very kit, was made possible by one of my channel supporters, Crazy Locha. Crazy L, dude, thank you so very much. If you would like to join him by making any kind of small donation to the channel, then please do so through any of the partner programs in the information box below. So let's get on then with grateful thanks to Crazy L and make the Austin K2Y ambulance, and the first step is to see what you get for your money. I have to say, when I got it, that I thought this is a pretty substantial box. It's a lot bigger than I imagined it would be. Don't know. I thought it'd be sort of this sort of size, maybe. But there we go. Let's have a look inside the box then. What do we get? And first of all, first thing you notice is this is definitely not an Airfix kit, because all of this is cellophane and not polyethylene. So the bags here are cellophane. I don't know if that makes them any more or less recyclable. I know a lot of places, a lot of supermarkets over here are now recycling soft plastics. I don't know how and what into, but anyway, this probably will go into those. In this first bag, there's two large sprues we'll have a look at in a moment, of course. Then there's another bag with another sprue, yet another bag, this time with the clear parts, all the windows and so on, and some lamps, and then of course the instruction sheet, and inside the instruction sheet is the decal sheet. Again, that will be quite interesting to look at. There's also this tiny fret of photo etch for probably not very much, but we'll see what all that does in a little while. And then, as I say, the instruction sheets themselves, very straightforward, very typical Airfix really. I don't think there's anything massively difficult in here to worry about. At the back are all of the schemes for us to try out. We'll look at those again in some detail. So there we go. It's not overpacked, but at the end of the day, what is it? It's an ambulance. It's a World War II ambulance. There's not going to be an awful lot to it, depending on what design choices you make, of course. So let's have a look at the parts in a bit more detail, one by one. So this is sprue A. It contains the base and roof of the cab, the back frame of the cab, the front door. Two parts here are the main chassis members, long members, and just bits and back doors, for example. Just bits and pieces really, nothing. You couldn't say, oh, this is all to do with ... This is main, there's a seat. Yeah, it looks okay, but it's not like, oh, this is all the cab section, because I don't think it is. But anyway, that's frame A. And here is frame B with the front sections of the cab, the main base of the whole vehicle, the side panels and the protective panels on the side, and the stretchers, stretcher mountings, and so on. Sprue D is the rest of the chassis, the whole suspension, drivetrain, wheels, front, the radiator cover, all the side panniers of fuel tanks, water tanks, and so on. There is a spare little sprue here, of course, with the engine cover, the bonnet, or hood, as our American friends would say. And here is sprue E with all the transparencies. That's all very straightforward, really. The windows, you know, this one's got a windscreen wiper sort of moulded onto it, a couple of headlamps if you're using headlamps. Otherwise, very, very straightforward bits of glass, really. Then the only other component sheet is a single piece of photo etch brass. There really isn't much to it. I think this bit is for the badge, the Red Cross badge that sits above the cab. I don't know, maybe these are light covers or something. I don't know what these are yet. Anyway, essentially, there's like 6 bits of brass photo etch, which isn't really an awful lot, but I guess they're there. The plastic looks okay. It seems well moulded. So occasionally that's a little bit of a lumpy surface finish there, but generally speaking it seems good. Let's have a look at the cabin floor here. It's not enormously detailed, but then I don't know if it was ever really. There's a bit of a scratch here, but it looks clean enough, sharp enough for what it is, and I'm sure it'll all go together quite nicely. These louvers here, yeah, I don't know. The detail's there. The detail is very much there. These straps. I don't know how much detail you can get out of a KATY ambulance, to be perfectly honest. If we look at some of the smaller parts, like these leaf springs, you know, they're fine. They're well moulded. They look right. The wheels look pretty good. There's a couple of... There's a small nick in this one. Don't know where that came from. Just need a tiny bit of clean up. Bit of an undershot sprue there. It looks fine. You know, I don't know really how to compare it with anything else because I haven't built that many 1/35th scale kits, but it looks all right. You know, I'm sure we can pull out some nice detail in these fuel cans, for example, fuel tanks, for example. It's just, I don't know, missing a bit of magic, I guess, but it's still very good. Still very good. The transparent parts, you know, they're pretty well moulded, really. Nice and clean. Again, you know, pretty good, really. These headlamps here, if we're going to use them. There's something in the bottom of this piece here. It's just like in this bottom corner there's something. I don't know if it's supposed to be there, because I don't know if it even goes on this kit, to be honest with you. There's obviously, you know, these windows definitely don't go on the kit. So we'll have a look at those as we build them. That might be the partition window, in which case it's got a little slider on it. Anyway, we'll see. But generally speaking, very clean, very tidy, very clear, which is what you want. On to the decal sheet now, and overall they're okay. Not as sharp and crisp as Cartograph, and definitely don't seem to have the same sort of colour density, but I think they'll do. Up here in the top left are the dials for the instrument panel, although I'm not sure what that square number 3 is, as I can't find it anywhere in the instructions. At top right are the unit markings clustered together, and in the bottom middle are the registration numbers for all the different schemes. Decals 27, 29 and 30 don't appear in the instructions because these are for the Katy from the movie Ice Cold in Alex. If you want to use these, use scheme C as the base. Also here are some learner plates used for scheme D. As I say, the decals are okay, but clearly not up to the sharpness of Cartograph. I guess Academy, who make this kit, have their own decals production arranged. Looking at the scheme options then, and scheme A is for a vehicle of 30 core in Northwest Europe after the D-Day landings. Note the additional US style badge on the bonnet. Scheme B is for a vehicle from 5th Army in North Africa in 1940, featuring a dazzle disruptive paint scheme. Scheme C is another 5th Army vehicle, this time from 1942, with the all-over Portland stone colour. And finally is Scheme D, which is the one seen in photos of the young Princess Elizabeth, later to become Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, during her service with the ATS in the Second World War. Really not sure why this isn't mentioned at all. The kit is rated at skill level 3, which I imagine is probably about right, and it comes with a token for 3 flying hours, which you can either collect yourself as a member of the Airfix Club towards a free kit, or you can donate to Models for Heroes. A link to that excellent charity is in the information box below. The proverbial elephant in the room here is the Gecko release of the K2Y in 1/35th scale. It costs about £6 more than the Airfix one. There's a lot more plastic, as it includes bits for things like the engine. By the way, on the releases box it's known as the well-known Katy and not a K2Y at all. Perhaps there's an issue with Austin or its modern descendants over the name. But let's look at how the kits stack up. There are 146 pieces in the Airfix kit and 420 pieces in the Gecko. For detail, there are 6 photo etch parts for the Airfix and 44 photo etch parts for the Gecko. The Airfix kit comes with 4 sets of scheme markings, the Gecko just 2. Bear all this in mind when looking at the recommended retail prices of $33.99 for the Airfix Katy and $39.99 for the Gecko model. From what I've seen and heard, the Gecko kit also has finer plastic with more detail in general, and it comes with a figurine of Princess Elizabeth. So it's a tough call to buy the Airfix K2Y over the Gecko kit. I think in the medium term, Airfix will regret not having been able to ship this much closer to the original spring release date and thus corner the market. So that's the Austin KATY ambulance from Airfix. These things are going to sell quite quickly, so do make sure you get hold of one if you're going to want to buy one. Of course, if you can, then go through the link down there in the information box below. Go straight to the Airfix online store, and you know what, Airfix will give this channel a little bit extra. You don't have to pay a penny more. If you go through their store as well, of course, not only do you get this wonderful new kit, but you get your free glass, beer not included, even though there's a brewery the other side of the road from their headquarters. I'm just saying, they could have done, maybe put a little bottle in there as well, but they didn't. Anyway, come back tomorrow when we start the build. Remember, next week we'll be doing a desert diorama with it as well. Hope you're having fun with whatever models you're making. Thanks very, very much for watching, and I will see you next time.